Alright, what to do, y'all? This your boy Share Speech. I want to talk to you guys about The Flash, Season 5, Episode 2, Blocked. And, in this episode, we saw a lot of character development in terms of, in this particular character, in my opinion. We saw Cecile's character develop because, you know, it's been a while since Cecile's had a child, a newborn child, As we all know, she has an elder daughter. She's in college and things of that nature, living her own life. And so with baby Jenna, you know, and having powers, while pregnant, she just felt like the supermom, the perfect mother. And as her powers began to wane and just started to fade, she started to feel really insecure and began questioning her abilities of being a parent. And Joe, while speaking with, Barry about Nora, because, Nora, she just wants to, take big steps and not even learning how to actually, learn specific, take the time to actually hone her skills as a speedster. It's in that moment that Joe actually teaches Barry a little something, reminds him of something. You know, Barry is Nora's hero, you know? And so and Joe made a good point. You have to remember something. All this hero knows about you is from a museum. So her coming back here to see you in the flesh and see how you do things is amazing to her. She just wants to impress her hero, just as Barry wanted to impress Joe, because he was the one. He used a fourth grade science competition as a good example. This was the same year that Barry was taken in, under Joe West's wing after his his family was dismantled, his mother being killed, his father in prison. And so that makes a lot of sense, and also in this episode, we just saw, Cisco still down on his luck about, losing Gypsy, and so Ralph actually came in and helped him out. He said, listen, this is what I used. This is how I have experience, with this breakup after breakup, after breakup after breakup, and this is how I did it. And so maybe this will help you. So we see Cisco get a makeover, he hates it and everything like that, but, he still learns, what Ralph Dibny was about. He said, even though she's the love of your life, if she was the love of your life, then she would be in your life. This is also while, Cisco and Ralph are trying to help Caitlin with the disappearance and death hoax certificate of her father, which you come to find out is actually written up by her mother. Now, I remember from last season, we learned a little bit about Caitlin's family a little bit. I believe this is like during season 3, I think, or season 4, one of the two. And her mother, there was a rift between Caitlin and her mother because her mother was so stern and so distant after her father supposedly died. And so in the vibe, after, they take on Cicada a little bit because they actually killed Black. After they stopped Black, Nora stopped Black after Black actually caught Flash up in one of her blocks. She uses the pressure of the air to form objects into the air. She uses the air molecules to form cubes and puts people in them, and makes it very extremely dense and hard to get out of. And so it was in that moment that Cicada come in and just pretty much just stabbed her through the cerebellum and killed her. Now, mind you, now of course, you see a guy that just killed somebody, one of the suspects. They're gonna bring him into Iron Heights. Of course, you're gonna have to fight them because now they're gonna be trying to attack you. And my stream actually skipped out, so I didn't get the chance to see Team Flash go up against Cicada all the way. But I saw the results, and Cicada, Cisco's hands were both wrapped up. He just couldn't. It hurt for him just to vibe. So that says a lot. And in the vibe, as I said, Caitlin saw her mother very tearfully, signing a hoax death certificate. And I can just read her mother's mind, like, I know my daughter's gonna hate me for this when she finds out. But maybe she will never understand it. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in my first ever episode of the season premiere, that her father Thomas may be Icicle they got from the comics. And so I look forward to seeing what happens in next week's episode, The Death of Vibe. I saw a preview of that. They went up against Cicada, because even they said when they looked at the footage of Cicada, all they just heard was the cicada-esque sound. And Nora immediately knew who that was. He's the most notorious serial killer of all time. So that's even worse. But then also we saw, when they actually found out how to take down Block, where Iris said, T West down forever, and we saw Nora's face just like, oh my gosh, no, I don't like that. So we get to see more about that hopefully next week as well. And it just goes to show that people are really, it really just goes to show that, Cicada's a altogether different meta, and then we saw that in the beginning of the episode when we saw him just kill people, we kept getting like little flashbacks of him obtaining different power, killing Gridlock at that, and things of that nature. So we'll see what happens next week. This has been your boy Jada Speaks. God bless.